Welcome everybody back on Segal Talks here at the Martini Segal Theater Center, the Graduate Center, CUNY. Another day in New York City, in Manhattan, another day on planet Earth, and another day with COVID, and things keep on happening in a relentless pace. The Segal Center is embarking since many, many weeks, over 14 now, on a tour around the globe, but also in New York City and in the US, and to talk to artists, to hear their experience of this unprecedented crisis, what it means to make art, essential questions we all ask ourselves. What are we doing? Where are we coming from? What should we be doing? What is changing? What has already changed? And what really should change? So it's a kaleidoscope of experiences, of particular personal ones, and we are honored and privileged to have these great artists from all the continents, and almost 100 now we talk to get their insights, and it's been the most valuable for me personally, but I think also for listeners who did let us know, and we thank Halvan for giving us this forum. Though the United States officially left the WHO, the World Health Organization, yesterday. In the moment of the greatest health crisis of the country, they think it's a good idea to leave, no longer influencing policies, no longer having access to studies, no longer being part of the world community. 60,000 people in the US were infected yesterday, the highest number ever recorded. And we are all stunned of these developments. There's 500,000 infections in Africa, 3 million in Latin America, and over 3 million alone in the United States. So it's shocking. And Israel, Serbia, Romania, Brazil, Puerto Rico, and now is hitting very hard after all that this poor country suffered through. Another great crisis, and we really do not know where all of this is going. Shocking news also for us at the university overnight. Basically, the Trump administration said that all foreign students basically have to leave the country if there's no in-person teaching. It is shocking. Harvard President Larry Bakoff said the order came without notice, and its cruelty is only surpassed by its recklessness. It's shocking to break up lives of foreign international students here in the US. So Harvard and MIT is suing the US government, and it's rightfully so. Also at CUNY, in our PhD program, we have many international students who make the program so great what it is. And it is most probably just a tactic to force universities to open in the fall to do in-person teaching, which put lives of faculty, students, the staff, the people in danger. Even New York schools and other schools, normal schools in the country, are being forced to open. Trump just threatened this morning to take away subsidies and funding if they choose to stay closed in a time, as I said, where we experience unprecedented losses. The New York stores are still closed. New York indoor restaurants are closed. Brooks Brothers, a 200-year-old company, filed for bankruptcy this morning. It's a shocking development, what we have. And I think it's fair to say that Trump has failed this country like no president before. He refuses to wear a mask. Is not a good symbol of encouraging people. It leads to death. So he is personally responsible for so many deaths, and he suggested that people should inject disinfectant in their own blood. And he thinks the only problem is we have too much testing, and that's why numbers are high, even so people cannot get tested. Long lines. I tried to yesterday in New York City, and they say the next one is the 17th or the 19th that's available. So it's shocking, and the question is, what do we do as human beings? And of course, artists who are so close to the presence, the experience of the presence, and experiencing and anticipating the future, are more for sure struggling even more in this experience. And today we go back to the great country of Japan, a great superpower in a way in theater, with a great tradition. They are staging performances the way they were done 400 years ago, but creating on the same time great contemporary work, whether it's playwrights or Buto that came out of Japan as tradition. So it's a fantastic, unique mixture with a rich tradition also globally connected after perhaps moments of more isolation. And with us, we have the great Satoko Ishihara. She is here with us, a young, a significant voice in the chorus of Japanese theater, and Aya Ogawa, a brilliant translator and New York director on her own and writer. Satoko is a playwright, director, novelist. She directs and writes plays that deal with human behavior, the psychology of the body, and the unease surrounding these themes, using her unique sense of language and physical sensitivity. Themes like sex, cross-mating, breeding are clinically portrayed through the viewpoint of women. She's a post-feminist, post-punk writer, creator, I would say. And Aya, the great Aya Ogawa, is a Tokyo-born, Brooklyn-based playwright, director, performer, and a brilliant translator. He was also part of the translation session of the Center for Humanities, which we helped to create. And she uses a stage for exploring cultural identity and other facets of the immigrant experience. And she was part of the play company Under the Radar, here artwork in the great Suicide Forest, when she directed Harun Ali's play that I think was a fantastic, one of the best works of the season. So both of you, thank you. I apologize for my long opening. And Satoko, where are you? What time is it?
Now I'm in Tokyo, and now it's 1 o'clock midnight.
1 o'clock past midnight. Wonderful. So how is the situation in Tokyo? And Aya can translate for you.
東京で今の状況どんな感じですか？
今は、非常事態宣言っていうのは解除されてしばらくちょっと経ったんですけど、また東京だけで1日の感染者が100人を超えてきたりとかっていう感じですね。ちょっとまた感染者が増えているっていう感じです。
So right now we're in a moment where they had released us from a state of emergency for a while, but just recently there have been about 100 infections per day just in Tokyo. So things are turning towards the worse right now.
100 infections per day seems to the US relatively low, but it's high for Japan.
1日に100人っていうのはアメリカの標準でいうと結構低いように聞こえるんですが、日本では多いですかね？
そうですね、100人は今までずっと切ってたので、非常事態が解除されてからなので今また第2波が来るんじゃないかっていうことを言われてます。
Yes, 100 per day is actually quite high because after we had been released from the state of emergency, we had not hit that number, and now we have. So people are talking about this being the second wave.
Second wave, yeah. New York City is doing well. I think last week, in some of the days, were only 18 under 20 infections. So how was your experience? Were you in lockdown for a long time?
どういう感じだったんですか？その非常の
ロック
ダウンの時は毎日の生活とか演劇会とか。
私は3月末ぐらいからずっと家にこもっていて、本当は4月の頭からドイツのミュンヘンに行くはずだったんですけど、3ヶ月間あっちに滞在して作品を1本書くっていうものがあって、その仕事に行くはずだったんですけど、それが行けなくなってしまって、それを東京の家で書いてました。
So I had been in lockdown basically since the end of March, and in April I was supposed to go to Munich, Germany, to be in residence there for 3 months to write a new play, but obviously that couldn't happen. So I've just been here in Tokyo writing.
So are you alone in an apartment or with your family? What neighborhood are you in Tokyo?
今東京のどこで一人住みですか、それとも家族と一緒にいるんですか？ アパートにいるんですか？
ルームメイトが一人いて、アパートに住んでます。
I live in Tokyo in an apartment with one roommate.
友達がコロナにかかったとか、知り合いがコロナにかかったとか、知り合いの知り合いがコロナにかかったっていうことも聞いていなくて、知っている人がコロナにかかったっていうのは有名人ぐらいで、なのでとてもこう平和な中で家にいるっていう感じでした。
Yeah, it's a little strangely peaceful because I don't know anybody personally who has gotten sick. I don't have any friends of friends or acquaintances of acquaintances even who have gotten sick from this. I've only heard about really famous people getting sick. So it's a strange time. I've just been at home in a seemingly very peaceful time.
Your work deals with Japanese society, the complex and complicated role of women, an aging society, and a society also experiencing a loss of labor and work. So, how are your thoughts in this time of Corona about Japan?
市原さんの作品はテーマとして日本社会を扱っていますよね。特に女性の視点からとか高齢者とか女性と仕事とかを扱っていると思うんですけど、このコロナのせいで自分の考えていることに影響されましたか？どういうことを今考えていますか？
私はニューヨークでも公演した「妖精の問題」っていう作品があるんですけど、それを家から出られなくなった時に台本を新作を書きながら並行してZoom で再演するっていうこともやっていて、でその時に3年前に書いた台本なんですけど、今このコロナの状況下でそれを読み直すと全然違うものに読めたりとかして、そういう発見はしていて、なので台本を変えたりとかっていう再演ではなくて、このコロナで Zoom を使ってその台本をそのまま上演して、そしたらコントラストっていうか、3年前と今の状況がとっても変わってるっていうことが浮き彫りになるかなと思って、そういうことをやってみたりはしました。
So one of the things that I've been doing, or I have done, is I wrote a play called A Question of Fairies, and this is something that in New York we had a reading of. But during this lockdown time, I remounted this piece, which I wrote 3 years ago over Zoom. And I really felt that there were kind of different resonances to this piece now in light of this age of Corona. It's not necessarily that I've been rewriting or re-editing that work, but just finding new resonances and new things that are hitting me about work that I've written in the past, which has been a discovery.
What are the new things she's finding?
そういう再現してどういう新しい発見があったんですか？
この作品は3パートに分かれてるんですけど、最後のパートは菌を扱っていて、自分の女性器の中にある菌を使ってヨーグルトを作るっていうレクチャーのような演劇なんですけども、でその時に殺菌は本当にいいことなんですかっていうことを作品の中で言っていて、で今その社会で生きているとどんどんもう殺菌を毎日毎日しなければ生きていけなくて、で菌と ウイルスっていうのは別のものですけど、とってもこう重なるところがあってっていうところとか、まあ、あと自分がこうなんて進化するっていうことが自分がお母さんから生まれてお母さんのここその似てる部分があるっていうこの受け継ぐような縦のなんていう縦の進化というかそういうものもあるんですけど、その横の進化っていうかウイルスはこう人から人に移ったりしてこう変化していくとかそういうその社会の中で生きていることで親から与えられる進化ではなくて横から与えられる進化っていうものをとてもなんか意識させられました。
So, Question of Fairies is a play that is written in 3 parts. There are 3 sections to it. And the third act of it, it takes the form of a lecture performance. And basically it's about bacteria. And specifically, through the course of this third part, the topic is about how to take the naturally existing bacteria within women's bodies and to make yogurt out of it. In this part of the play, I explore this question of whether sterilization, antibacterial sterilization, is really truly a good thing, over sterilizing the environment. And now obviously viruses are different from bacteria, but I think that there are enough similarities to the way we think about them. And now, of course, we live in a world in which we have to sterilize everything, sterilize surfaces in order to be safe. So that's one thing that felt very vibrant to me about the play. Another thing that I've been thinking about is evolution or change. And one form of the human evolution, of course, is a vertical evolution and a vertical change. What is it? We are all born from our mothers. We inherit certain characteristics from our parents. So there's a verticality to our progress or to our change. But there's also, as human beings, we live within society, and there's a horizontal inheritance. How are we affected by our environment, by society? So it's made me really conscious of this kind of horizontal way of change and evolution that we exist in.
Is it easy for you to write at the moment?
今、戯曲を書くのは書きやすい状況ですか？
多分4月に思っていることと今思っていることはだいぶ変わってきてはいるかなと思うんですよね。4月の時はあまりにもこう現実がフィクションのように思えてそれに太刀打ちできるフィクションを自分は作れないっていう思考が働いたんですけど、今はそれも落ち着いてきてもうちょっと距離を持って物事を見れるようになってたくさんのこう問題とかがあるからたくさん材料があるなというふうには感じてます。
Yeah, I think that things have changed. I mean, back in April, I would say that it was very difficult for me to write because reality itself seemed like fiction. And it was hard for me to kind of then from that place generate a fiction that could kind of stand up to that. But now, with a little bit more calm and with a little bit more distance from what's happening, I'm finding it easier to write. There are a lot more things and problems to write about, for sure.
Mhm. How is the mood within Japanese artists? I feel still Fukushima is on the mind of so many contemporary work. Toshiki Okada talked about this. How is the experience of this global catastrophe influencing the atmosphere?
演劇界とか芸術界とかはどういう感じで今の状況を受け止めていますか？どういう影響が見れると思いますか？何週間前に岡田敏樹さんと一緒の会話があったんですけど、その時もやっぱり福島の話が出てきたんですけど、今この世界中に影響を与えられているコロナウイルスの状況は日本のアーティストとかどういうふうに受け止めていると思いますか？
そうですね。とってもなんでしょう、日本の社会っていうものが芸術の必要性っていうのはあまり考えてないというか、例えば演劇をやっている人をプロフェッショナルだとは思ってない風潮があって、そういう人たちを別に助ける必要はないっていうことを言っている人はたくさんいて、なので私たちがすごく公演がキャンセルになったりして困ってるっていうことを声を上げていかなくちゃいけないっていうことで演劇が経済的に潰れてしまわないように活動しようっていう人はたくさんいます。それは私は福島を経験した時は大学を卒業した年、ちょうど大学を卒業する年だったんですけども、2011年で、その時は私は今よりも全然何も分かってないというか、学生が終わったばかりで、その周りの演劇をやってる子たちも、若い子が今よりも若い人が全然たくさんいたんですけど、社会の問題に対して興味があるっていう態度を取ることを見せない人が多かったですね。でも今そういう人は2011年から比べるととっても減っては演劇人の中で減ってはいると思って、とても今みんな声を上げているような印象はあります。
I think that generally speaking, Japanese society doesn't really consider art a societal necessity. So, and there are quite a lot of people who think that theater makers are not professional. Artists don't consider it like professional. So when we were in lockdown and lots of performances were canceled, it was really up to the people within the theater industry to create a movement to try to save the economy of the theater industry. You mentioned Fukushima, that was 2011, and that's actually the year I graduated from college. And as a person who's just ending a student life, I really didn't know anything. And I was surrounded by young people who, it seemed like at that time, really were not engaged with societal issues or problems. In fact, were really trying to avoid that kind of political conversation. But I do feel like now it's hard to remain indifferent. And in the theater world, there are a lot more vocal voices.
Will your work change? Will the character of your work change because of this corona?
市原さんの作品自体はこれから書く作品とかもこれに影響を感じるものになると思いますか？
私がその先月末書き終わったものはギリシャ喜劇をベースにしたギリシャ喜劇の構造を使った劇なんですけど、それはかなりあえてというかわざと現在の社会の状況を風刺的に捉えたいっていう試みを持ってやりました。それは今までは結果的にそうなっていたっていうことがあるけど、そこまで意識的にやろうっていうことはあまりしていなかったんですけど、コロナのことに関わらず今日本の状況を見ていて自分なりに思うことをなんでしょう露骨に入れたいっていう気持ちが出てきて、そういうものを書きました。
Yes, I do think that I have been influenced. In fact, the script that I just finished writing at the end of last month is structured like a Greek tragedy, but it really intentionally reflects what is going on societally. In the past, I think that my work may have ultimately gotten to a place where it reflects societal issues and such, but in the process of writing it, I was never that conscious about being explicit about that. But this new play that I've written is very much intentional and conscious in my including the way I've experienced the way I interpret the things that are happening in society, including the coronavirus, but other elements of Japanese society as well.
それはやっぱりその今の状況がすごく特殊で言ってみれば面白い状況なので、それに合わせたことをぶつけていく、あえてぶつけていくっていうのはことがやってみたいっていう動機がすごく湧いてきて、コロナのことではないんですけど、すごく極端な右翼の人っていうのはすごく出てきていると思うんですね、世界的に。で、日本でもそういう最近選挙があったんですけど、前からやってた人が続いてやるっていうなんていうか当たり前の、自分が予想していた結果になったんですけども、その中にすごい人種差別的なことを言う極端な右翼の人がいたんですけど、この人は、もちろん落選したんですけど、前出た時よりもかなり票数を伸ばしていて、でそのことをすごく怖く感じました。で、そういうこともあって、そういうものを作品の中に取り入れたりしました。
So these are really extraordinary times that we're living in, and I've really felt passionate about talking about the circumstances right now head on. I think this is not specifically about the coronavirus itself, but I think we're seeing globally that right-wing voices are really coming to the forefront. And there was an election recently in Japan, and the results of the election were not particularly surprising to me, but there was one candidate who was from the right and who was voicing very extreme racist things. And I felt that it was really terrifying that this person was receiving more votes than they had in the past. So that was something that I had to face head on.
Do you think art and theater can be a part changing Japan into a place where there is perhaps less suffering, where there is more understanding? And is art for you an individual practice or a social or political practice?
市原さんにとってはアートや演劇とかは日本を変えることのできる力を持っていると思いますか？もしくは日本をもっと、理解のある社会に変えることができると思いますか？市原さんにとっては演劇っていうのは個人的にやっていることなのか、それとも社会的に義務を感じてやっていることなのか。
多分3年前ぐらいまではすごく個人的な楽しみっていうか個人的な欲求で作品を作っていたと思うんですけど、最近はそうですね、社会を変えたり社会を良くするっていうことが、をできると思ってやっています。そういうことを多分言うことをとても恥ずかしがっていたというか躊躇していたんですけど、そうやって言わなければいけないっていうふうに最近は考えていて、なんでしょう、こう世の中でやっぱり今そう差別がいけないっていうこともたくさん言われてますけど、そうやって言ったり多分今まで言えなかった人が声を上げれるように多分世界はどんどん変わってきてはいて、それはすごく素晴らしいことだと思うんですけど、芸術っていうのは多分皆さんがツイッターとかなんだろムーブメントっていうかプロテスト運動とかでできるする方法ではない方法で多分社会を変えることができるんだと思っていて、例えば差別をしちゃいけないっていうことを言うのはもちろんですし、差別された方がこういうことをされて傷ついたっていうことをこう発信するのもすごい大事だと思うんですけど、芸術っていうのはきっとこうそういうそっちの方向のやり方ではなくて、差別っていうものがどうして人間はしてしまうのかっていうことを掘り下げることができるものだと思うんですよ。例えばツイッターで私はこういうことで差別をしましたっていうことを言うのはすごく危険なことだと思うんですね。それもう最低な人間だってすごい言われて、その人はもう立ち直れないぐらいツイッターでの論争っていうのはすごい怖いものだと思っていて、でも芸術では人間にはそういう差別する心が絶対ある。でもそれがどういうものでだからいけないんですっていうことをストーリーっていうか物語を作って言えるっていうのがあると思います。ツイッターのような短い文字で切り取られてるようなものではなくて。
Up until about 3 years ago, I would say that theater had been quite an individual practice for me, or something that was driven by my own personal desire. But these days, I would say that my theater practice is very much in an effort to improve society. I would say that I was probably embarrassed to have to come out and say that so explicitly, but that the world is changing in such a way that we have to be that explicit, and that we can be that explicit, and it's necessary to be very explicit. Art, I really think that it is another way to change society, that is separate from Twitter, or or larger protests and protest movements, which I think are also necessary. But for example, I think it's really important for people to come out and say that it's wrong to be racist or wrong to be prejudiced. It's important for us to hear those personal anecdotes of people who have suffered because of prejudice or racism. But I think art is the space where we can create the space to explore why humans are prone to prejudice and racism in the first place. And you can't have these nuanced conversations on Twitter, in just 140 characters. You'll just be devoured, and never be able to, leave the house or face society. But art is the place where we can have a more nuanced conversation about exploring why do these racist or prejudiced structures exist in the first place? Why are human beings have the tendency towards them in the first place, and how can we dismantle them?
How is it for you as a young female theater artist to break into Japanese theater? Is that how complex is that? Is that easy? Your place deal with these questions? Is it
市原
easy?
さんの作品でもこういうテーマを扱ってると思うんですけど、市原さん自体若い女性として日本の演劇界の中に入り込むのはどういうふうに難しいことだったんですか？
逆に私はその女性の劇作家っていうのが日本に今は少し増えてきましたけど、多分5、6年前は全然もっと少なかったと思うんですよ。で、その中で私は登場したので、目立つことができたっていうか、女性っていうことをすごく特別に扱われる機会が多かったかなと思います。で、それでその女性を扱うような企画にもたくさん呼ばれたことありますし、で、自分が書いてるものがそんなに女性っていうものを表現してるっていう意識を最初始めた時は持っていなくて、だんだん周りからあなたは女性のことを書いてますねっていうことを言われて、私は女性のことを書いてるんだっていうことをすごく意識させられるようになって、私は女性だから今注目されているんだとか、女性だから見てもらえるんだっていうことを考えなければいけなくて、それがとても自分はいい面もあったけれど、余計な悩みというかそういうものも持ったかなと思います。
Actually, when I was just starting out as a playwright, I would say up until 5 or 6 years ago, there were not a lot of female playwrights, as I was just getting started on my career, and I felt that I gained a lot of attention because I was a woman, and I was invited to participate in a lot of like female themed projects. And for my part, when I was just starting out in my writing, I wasn't conscious of writing about women's themes in particular, but over the course of my career, I had just been told by other people that, oh, you're writing about women, you're writing about themes pertaining to women. And also I had to recognize that I was receiving a lot of attention because I was a woman, because I was writing about things that people considered to be women pertinent themes. So this is both good and bad. You know, I felt like I was getting the attention for being a woman writing about women's things, but also coming to terms with, you know, that consciousness about the things that I was writing about.
In this time now, in this time of Corona, do you think there is a sensitivity in audiences to hear and see new work, possibly also work from women artists, but possibly also work in the digital realm, in the digital field? Are you exploring representation of your imagination on screen?
今のコロナの時代に入ってしまったんですけど、どう思いますか？観客としてはこのコロナの時代の中で新しい作品に興味を持つ人が多いと思いますか？で、新しい作品っていうのは、まあ、女性のテーマの作品も含めてその生の演劇ではなく、こういうのデジタルなプラットフォームを使った作品だとか、市原さん自身は自分のイマジネーション、自分の想像をこういう新しい画面越しで表現することを実現したいと思っていますか？
その私は Zoom でこの間作品をやったんですけど、その時はその Zoom でやらざるを得ないっていう状況を経験してみようって思ったんですね。だから急いでやったんです。この状況にみんな、このコロナの混乱の状況にみんなが慣れてしまう前に、この混乱した中でZoom で演劇を見るっていう経験を自分もお客さんにさせたいし、自分も見せるっていう経験をしたいと思ってやったんですね。で、今すごくその Zoom の演劇っていうのもたくさん出てきたし、YouTube で演劇をもちろん過去の作品を記録したものを見せるっていうのもたくさんあったし、岡田さんとかもやってるようなその映像で演劇のようなものを見せるっていうのたくさん増えてきていると思うんですけど、でこの今の状況で自分が今何をしたいかっていうと、まだ私は見つけられていなくって、その映像を使う必然性っていうものがまだ見つけられていなくって、映像作品っていうのはもともとそういう映像作家の方がいて作ってたもので、演劇を映像でやるっていう必然性をまだ自分は見つけられていなくて、すごい映像を作ろうと思ったら映像をもともと作ってる方にかなうわけがなくって、で演劇をやってきた人間としてどう映像を使うかっていうことをちゃんと考えないと何かに劣ったもの、本当の劇場でやる演劇に劣ったものでしかないし、映像作品としても劣ったものにしかならなくって、とても難しいし、そこまで今それを自分が考える必要があるのかっていうのも迷っているところです。
So as I mentioned earlier, I did do a Zoom performance of a play that I had written, and that was because I wanted to experience something that was unique to that moment, which was the necessity of doing theater over Zoom. Like I wanted to experience what that was like firsthand, and I wanted my audience to experience that. And in order to meet that moment, we really rushed, the process, and because I wanted to experience that crisis, the crisis of the moment. Now, of course, some weeks and months have gone by, and there are a lot more things happening over digital platforms. There are performances and readings of theater scripts happening over Zoom. And obviously you can access more past productions over YouTube and such. So there are a lot more opportunities for theater to be experienced over video, but I have to say that I haven't discovered yet what it is that I want to do moving forward, because honestly, there are video artists who have been making work for this digital platform for a long time before this. And so what I am doing as a theater artist, I still need to think about, because right now what I can create is still lacking compared to a live theater experience. It is also still lacking from, a seasoned video artist's perspective. And I also am not sure whether it's an absolute necessity for me to think about having to evolve my theater practice in this way.
Thank you, Satoko. Aya, a question to you. You are part of the New York theater scene. Your work as a writer, director, and also a translator, is so fundamental, essential. And you go back and forth to Japan. How do you see the situation in Japan? What are differences to the New York experience of Corona and of the place artists are in?
Well, I have to admit that I don't, what I can say is that my work in New York has been totally canceled for the rest of the year, and possibly longer. It's a very, very sad and scary situation. But Japan, even though they did go through a period of lockdown, everything has opened up again. So most of my colleagues, friends, and acquaintances in Japan are proceeding business as usual. So the bulk of my work at the moment is almost 100% translation. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I worry about the second wave. But I mean, I feel like everybody is in the same place of just waiting and seeing what's going to happen. I was recently, I was scheduled to direct a puppet show at Here Art Center, but they've just made the decision to not have any live performances in their space for the rest of at least this calendar year. Yeah. But in Japan, it seems like much more normal now after a brief period of shutting down.
So shows are going on. There's a complete opening of theaters, or it's like with social distancing, or
as far as I understand, everything is back to normal. 市原さん、今に日本での演劇界ってもうほぼ普通の状況になっていますよね。
今月ぐらいから劇場は、私の認識では空いてるのかなっていう感じですけど、
客席とか満員になって
満員には多分できないですね。私も9月に公演があるんですけど、それは多分客席を少なくしてやらないといけないっていうガイドラインが。
So theaters are, it seems like starting at the beginning of this month, things have been going back to normal. That most theaters perhaps are working with a smaller capacity, with space in between audience members, but things are moving forward.
That is amazing. Is there Japan, of course, also is famous for having been so isolated from the world for so many centuries, and now these are these kind of lockdowns and isolation. Are there historical comparisons in the history of Japan with the moment of the Corona crisis now, such infections?
なんか日本でのコロナの状況は歴史的になんか共通なものを経験したことありますか？なんて言ったらいいんだろう。まあ国として閉鎖していた時期も何百年前にもありましたけど、こういうコロナでの引きこもり状況には日本としてどういうふうに見ているんでしょうか？
でも100年に一度の危機とかテレビではすごく言ってて、誰も経験したことない危機だと思いますね。
I mean, on the TV, they're calling it, the danger of the century. So I don't think that there is an easy historical parallel that people are drawing in Japan.
And do you, Aya, what do you think? Where does that fit in Japanese thinking, such a crisis? How does a society deal with this?
Well, I think one thing, I mean, they talk about this in the news too, about how mask wearing is much more common in Asia, or particularly in Japan, and that probably has had a lot to do with the way the disease has not spread as badly there than here. But, as a frequent visitor to Tokyo, and with a lot of acquaintances in Tokyo, I do feel like, particularly in the large cities, Japanese people have a different sense of space, a different sense of personal space, and that there is a lot more inward looking, that is more accessible perhaps to people than in America. I mean, you can see it when you go to the theater in Japan and versus theater in America. An American audience is so eager to laugh, so eager to express, so eager to kind of respond to what they see on stage. If you go to the theater in Japan, it will most likely be total silence, even when the audience is like fully enjoying themselves. And that's one of the comments that I hear from Japanese artists when they tour to the US, that they're just shocked by how responsive the audience is. But I think that it's really reflective of how the two cultures are different in terms of how the way they feel themselves in their bodies, with the way they feel themselves as a culture, and that they will react and respond to this particular moment in history in different ways.
So it's more a stoic personal experience, not an outgoing emotional response.
Yeah, I don't know if it's stoicism. I'm not sure if it's stoicism, because I do think that the impulses are the same, but in Japan, perhaps they're much more accustomed to kind of turning that inwards. So, you will have just as violent a Twitter war in Japan as you would in America. But what you can see in the world outside, walking around, is probably quite different.
A question for both of you. Do you think Japanese theater will look different? I mean, there's the commercial theater, which we in America never see because it's so complex to travel and translations, and also there's successful independent, then there's the traditional theater, which we do see sometimes the kabuki, the bunraku, and the experimental work of works like Satoko and Toshiki. But will there be a change in the fabric of theater if there's a year without performances, or in case it goes back and the second and third and fourth and fifth wave with it? Or do you think it will be stable?
日本での演劇界自体はコロナによってもう大きく変わることがあると思いますか？これはもうコマーシャルシアターも伝統のものも実験的なものも全て入れて大きく演劇界が変わると思いますか？これによって。
大きく変わったら面白いとは思いますけど、あまり大きな変化っていうのはイメージできないかなと思います。震災の後とかは劇場で例えば上演する時に始まる前にアナウンスがあるじゃないですか。なんかその時に地震が起きたら、津波が起きたらこういうふうに逃げますっていうことをすごく言う習慣ができたりとかがありましたね。で、そういうなんか小さな変化があるんじゃないかなと思って、でも自分も多分今劇場に行くのすごい怖いと思っていて、感染するかもしれないので、例えば劇場に見ていて隣の人がすごい咳をしたりしたら嫌な気持ちにどうしてもなってしまうと思うんですね。で、そういう時に演劇に没頭するっていうことは難しくなってしまうような気がして、で、誰かがウイルスを持っているかもしれないっていう状況で人が集まるっていう大きな変化ではないかもしれないんですけど、そういう心の変化がすごく起きちゃうんじゃないかなとは思っています。
It's hard to predict. It's hard to imagine a really big change happening in the theater world. I think that it is an opportunity that is really interesting to consider. But to look at things specifically, for example, after the earthquake of 2011, you know how there are pre-show announcements before performances. They started to include as a habit, in the case of an earthquake, these are the ways, this is the way to exit the theater. That was the largest kind of change that we saw. I do think, though, that there could be a real change in people's hearts, really, about the idea of gathering together in in large numbers publicly. Like if someone is coughing next to you in the theater, you are going to be affected, if momentarily. I think the fear of catching the virus is real, and it's going to really prevent people from being able to participate in being an audience fully. So I don't know, it's yet to be seen how that kind of change in people's feelings might later change the larger picture of the theater world.
What do you think, Aya?
Well, I've kind of been in disbelief about how little Japan seemed to have changed. I remember earlier on when New York was locked down and Japan started to open, I was convinced that they were just lying about the numbers. I just couldn't believe that it was safe. I don't know. I can't really say anything beyond that.
I mean, if I understand right, the new art form, in a way, a revolutionary new art form of Buto came out of experience of post-World War II, rejection of traditional Japanese tradition that led to fascism, also a rejection of the values of the West who dropped the bomb, and the idea of the body, the skin, the burned skin, infected skin, created something completely new outside the metropolises. It was more in the north and region of northern region of Japan. Do you think that is there anything detectable of a new form or of a new approach to a theater that will have as strongly, perhaps, as impact as the Buto discovery has given to the world?
舞踏というものは第二次世界大戦の後に出てきた芸術だと思うんですけど、それは本当に原爆だとか都会だとか欧米に対しての拒否から生まれてきた芸術だと思うんですけど、そういった大きな新しい芸術とか新しいアプローチとか演劇界では今の時点で見えますか？
アプローチ、して、やっぱズームを使ったものが多いですよね。で、それは私はあまり見てないんですけど、まあそういうものはあるかなっていう感じですね。舞踏のようなものが今出てきてるかどうかはちょっとわからないです。
It's hard to say at this moment whether there is such a large and pivotal shift that would give birth to a movement like Buto, as big of a movement as Buto was. I mean, as far as new approaches, I would say that, people are moving towards the digital platforms like Zoom, but it's hard to say right now from this distance whether there's a larger emergence in terms of art form or approach.
Do you see anything in the digital world? I'm sure you follow performances, screenings, and things in Japan. Is there something where you feel this is really interesting, this is innovative? Is there something you can point us to?
Me? I've really just been hard at work translating for Toshiki. He has a new art exhibit, like video art exhibit coming up right now, and also a new work. I'm not sure if it's an exhibit or a podcast or a combination. Like a sound installation for Yudai Kamisato, whom you know. But I haven't not yet seen these pieces in full. I've just been dealing with the text. So yeah, if they turn out to be something that's accessible worldwide, I'll definitely let you know.
Certainly something to watch out for. Could you ask Satoko if there are things she saw online where she feels these are innovative approaches from artists or companies?
市原さんが最近見たデジタルプラットフォーム上、Zoom 上で、これは面白かったみたいなものはありますか？皆さん、観客と今シェアできるものありますか？
あんまり見てないんですけど、今もう見られないと思うんですけど、岡田さんが脳を現代の設定に置き換え、脳のストラクチャーを使って現代劇を作るっていうのは見ました。それはすごく面白かったです。ズームって今その人が住んでる背景を使ったりできるので、それぞれの背景でそれぞれの生活感というかそれぞれの背景を持って、でさらにその岡田さんの映像では映像のさらに後ろにまた背景を作って街の様子を映したりとかしていたんですけど、それがなんていうのか、ギリシャ劇とかもその背景が野外劇でその都市だったと思うんですね。なんかそういうフィクションのものを背景がリアルなもので見るっていうのすごく面白かった。
Actually, Toshiki Okada, he's been writing a new series of contemporary no plays. And this is something that I was translating, but Satoko was able to see it. They were supposed to have, an actual production this summer, but because of what was happening, they had to postpone the full production until next year. But instead, they had a performance reading of the plays over Zoom, and Satoko was able to catch those, and she thought what was really interesting about them was that each individual performer would be in their home, and you get to see the background of their home and feel or imagine what it would be like for them in that particular environment for them. But also there was a background created to the individual squares for the reading, and it really kind of was reminiscent of how I imagine the Greek amphitheaters to work. Like you would see the stage, of course, but then beyond the theater, you would see the landscape or the cityscape. So it was kind of an interesting moment to experience that background to the background. But I'm not sure whether they just had 2 readings, and I didn't personally see them because they took place at like 3 or 4 in the morning New York time, and I'm not sure whether the recordings are available to us now.
But yeah, I mean, he also talked on the Segal talks about his engagement with the new media, and he said it was interesting that actors now have perhaps the same presence as the director. If they share a screen, even in the rehearsal process, there's some kind of a democratization going on. He said, I don't really know what it means, but it means something. How is this support? We're coming closer to the end of the session, but how is this support, Satoko? Is the Japanese government, is the city of Tokyo helping you, and you, Aya, as someone who has done so much for Japanese theater, are you getting help for your work?
どうですか、市原さん、日本の政府もしくは東京都からサポートをもらっていますか、今この状況の中で。
私が1個もらったのは10分ぐらいの動画を作って作ったら1人10万円もらえるっていうものがあって、でも10万円ってそんなに助からない金額ではあって、一生懸命動画を作ったら10万円以上かかってしまいますよね。なのでお金をもらう手段として適当にって言ったらちょっとあれなんですけど、お金をもらうために10万円以上のコストがかからないように動画を作るっていうことにしかならなくて、それは都民の人が自由に見れるようになる動画なんですけど、なんかこれが自分の作品だと言って見せられるのがそんなに喜ばしくないような感じがしていて、あまり まあなんていうんですかね、その芸術をやってるっていう証明を多分動画でさせようとしているだと思うんですけど、なんか、ちょっと自分はこれはいい企画だとはあまり思わなかったですけど、でもお金が欲しいからそれはやりました。
There was one project where the city of Tokyo was offering 10,000 yen, which is, sorry, 100,000 yen, which is equivalent to $1,000 more or less, for artists to make a 10-minute video. And $1,000 is really not a lot of money. I mean, if you were really wanted to make a fine work, a video artwork, it could easily cost $2,000 just to make the work. So I did participate in this, but really I'm not sure I could say that it was a good project. It's hard for me as an artist to say that, I am proud of the work that I made for this project, just because for me it was really a means of trying to make some money, and therefore to try to keep costs down so that I could make that money and not spend it on making the video. But that was something that I participated in. For me, I'm speaking as myself, I feel extremely lucky because I have a partner who's able to continue working at home. And so that is my support system. And I actually have there are a lot of emergency grants that foundations are offering right now. That I have not been participating in applying for, because I feel that there are other people who need the support much more than me. So I think that as a writer and also as a translator, there is work that I can do, but the same is not necessarily true for performers or designers. So I really hurt for them, all of my colleagues in the field.
Yeah, no, it's devastating, as you pointed out. Nothing will happen till the end of the year. Potentially something in spring, but most probably also not. It's a devastating loss. I think the UK, with all they have done wrong, they have one of the highest corona infection rates. They neglected it like Trump for such a long time. But they just 2 days ago announced a $2 billion injection into the art industry and into art institutions, and to help artists who have made such a contribution to the life, and especially in New York City, where the arts are so vital, and they have also helped to turn the city around in the great catastrophe of the 70s, when the city was almost bankrupt again. And so I think we all need to find ways to also honor the work of artists, and having great art is a reward for a working society. Having great performances, music just shows that things are working, and America doesn't seem to be able to handle this well at the moment. So we don't see any, and it's connected. Art has been on the right side of history, of the right side of social justice, and arts have been always on the right side of the fight for the complex struggle for freedom and for liberties. And now we are here again, but it's not visible at the moment, and not supported. And I think it's not a good sign for this society, and things will and should change. As a closing question, we often do that, Satoko and also Aya. So what do you think is important for all of us to focus on at the moment in this time of Corona, and with hopefully the TAC, the time after Corona, visible at the end of the year or beginning of next? What do you think is of importance?
最後の質問になるんですけど、石原さんにとって今何が一番重要だと感じますか？このコロナ時代、コロナ後も含めて何が一番重要な ものだと思いますか？
演劇の話ですね。演劇に関わらず。
演劇に関わらず。
うん、あー、そうですね。すごい難しい話ですけど、なんか正直に言えば、まあ、家族とかはすごい大事ですよね。なんか、それが面白い回答なのかわからないですけど、コロナパンデミックが起こる前は、自分は東京から引っ越したいなって思ってたんですけど、あの、うん、でもコロナになって、やっぱり家族っていうか、親が東京に住んでるので、そこからはあまり離れないようにしたいなっていうふうに思いました。何かあった時に助けに行けたりするっていうことですね。だからなんだ、あの歩いて行ける範囲の人がとってもなんか大事だなと思いました、コロナがあって。なんかこう、大勢の人が集まるっていうのももちろん大事ですけど、やっぱ大事な人が歩いて行ける距離に住んでいるっていうのはすごくいいなって思います。
That's a really difficult. That's a really difficult question to answer, but I guess, and this might be not the answer that you were hoping for, but I would say that the corona pandemic has really prioritized for me family. And, before the pandemic, I was thinking that I wanted to leave Tokyo, but my parents live here. And now in this new time, I have been feeling like I really want to stay close to them. And I've also felt recently that that what's within walking distance is very important. So the people who live within walking distance from me are really important. And I think that this will affect, the way we gather in the future and how we are able to gather in the future. I think for me, and I'm sure many of your guests, American guests, have said the same thing, but the fact that this pandemic has coincided with this moment in the Black Lives Matter movement here and police brutality, but also a real kind of confrontation with the racist structures in place in America, this is a real opportunity for us to imagine how to reconceive of a lot of our institutions. And, there's that letter that We See You White American Theater movement also happening, which I support. But I also wonder I wonder whether institutions that were built on white supremacy can truly be reformed. And so what I've been spending my time on is trying to, in conversation with other artists, trying to really envision what theater can look like that is divorced from hierarchy, that is divorced from white supremacy, that is divorced from the system of rewards and accolades, that truly serves community, and what that means, what that looks like, and how that can work.
Yeah, these are some important suggestions to focus on your family, to think about walking distance, to think about how you gather, how you get together, and then the structures, can they be changed? at all, and how can art contribute to make visible what this corona crisis has exposed. Richard Schechner reported, a friend did say, it's like a Fukushima nuclear disaster, but the top is open of the reactor and you look inside live, you see the people, you see what's happening, you see the meltdown, and we don't know where we are going. So Satoko and Aya, thank you for the update from Japan. This is it was important to hear from you and to get your experience, how you live this moment. Tomorrow we have Nigel Smith with us, who runs the Flea Theater in New York City, and we will hear from Nigel how he is braving that storm, which he has to get through at the deck of his ship. And Jean-Claude Van Italy, a great playwright, a Belgian-born refugee after World War II, came from Europe, from his family, and was probably the most significant anti-Vietnam War play in the 60s, and then continued his practice as a writer, and now also created a retreat, upstate New York, Chantigarh, where he feels we also have to focus and engage with the spiritual life, meditation and transcending practices that art has done always over centuries. So we will continue. Next week we'll have Caridad Switch and Lee Brewer and Maud Mitchell from the Mabu Mines, Tiago Rodriguez from Portugal, Suzanne Kennedy from Berlin, who's doing very significant work, a new generation that grew up with games, videos, and is employing and using an aesthetic that is an update, I think, on what we have seen so far. So stay with us. Thank you again, both, for being with us. To our audience, thank you for listening. I know it's complicated with translations, with long listening to different languages, but it's also a fact of the world that we do live in multilingual realities. It's on the streets of New York City, it's on the workplaces, it's in collaborations. We just don't see it on the stages. We're not used to it. The Gorky Theater in Berlin is subtitling every show into Turkish. Whatever they do, they think it's important to consider everybody's languages, and I think this is an important contribution also in this series that we do here. And those languages. Aya, thank you for your most brilliant translation as always, and we hope you will get back to work soon to the Suicides Forest, which now seems like such a joyous occasion, what you created and did, and that we get out of suicides into a celebration of life and of theater and of community. It's a significantly dangerous time which we're living in, and I think artists help us, and listening to them helps us. It helps me to get through. Again, thanks for HowlRound, TJ, Vijay, and Thea, and Travis, Andy, and Sanyang from the Segal team, really. And thank you for listeners to take the time to listen to Satoko, what she has to say. And Satoko, I hope you will be able to get back to Munich. I assume the Munich Kammerspiele, is it the one who invited you?
ミュンヘンでは、ミュンヘンの劇場ってどの劇場でしたんですか？
レジデントシアターです。レジデントシアター。
Resident Theater in Munich, yes, fantastic. So this is a great honor to be working there and be invited. So thank you all for listening, and I see you all tomorrow. I hope for Nigel, stay safe, do wear a mask, and stay tuned. Thank you.